But every single one of my clients are learning the opposite. That the more you let go, the more you get what you want in surprising and delightful ways. This is what I call the charmed life. Letting go, relaxing into life, feeling the joyful flow of being in the flow, and watching as the universe delivers to you everything you want. Welcome to Worthiness Wednesday. I'm Perry Gruber, the Enlightenment Guy. For over a decade, I've helped people master their mindsets so they can create lives they love and get results without the burnout and the hustle. And today, I want to talk about planning. I want to talk about planning because a client is struggling with his worthiness and his perceived need to plan. This is an interesting dynamic that almost everybody on the planet are struggling with. And it's not a wonder, because our physical reality, if you don't realize that your physical reality is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, then you tend to rely on what you're perceiving in your physical reality as the truth. And one of those truths that people hold is that I'm going to say the universe, but what I mean particularly is life experience, your physical reality, is a random situation, a random collection of circumstances that are occurring beyond your control, and that some of those circumstances can be detrimental to you. And because those detrimental circumstances can come out of nowhere, you believe you have to plan, you have to prepare for the worst, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. Now, I'm not telling the truth here. I'm talking about what most people perceive, how most people perceive physical reality to be. But physical reality is not like that at all, unless you believe it is. And if you believe it is, it's going to show up that way because of what I'm about to say. Physical reality is not a collection of random experiences, some of which are negative and can happen to you. Physical reality is stemming from your own thoughts and beliefs, your vibrational focus. And if you believe that physical reality is a collection of circumstances, some of which can harm you, then of course that's how physical reality is going to show up. And in order to move into the charmed life that I talk about with all of my clients, a life where physical reality bends to your desires so that you get everything you want without having to do anything to make those things happen. In order to get there, you have to talk and think and vibrate yourself out of the thoughts and beliefs that have you thinking that physical reality is a random collection of events. That's what this client is in the process of doing. His struggle is he has a tremendous amount of momentum of disempowering thoughts and beliefs, many of which came as a result of him being transgender. I'm using male pronouns because he doesn't have a problem with that. Many of his challenges stem from him being transgender and resisting that all his life. He's about 32 or so. So he's been resisting it all that time, while at the same time practicing Christianity, which obviously runs counter to being trans. So he's been struggling all this time, reconciling his own worthiness, wanting to fully embrace who he is, but at the same time being told by his religion that he can't embrace it because if he does, he's going to go to hell. And all of that insecurity that comes from that rock and hard place has caused him to create a dynamic in his life where he feels extreme insecurity and anxiety. And as a result of that, his life experience reflects that back to him in the form of what he perceives to be circumstances that are out of his control. Random events, predominantly negative, that come into his life experience and as a result, disrupt his life. So as a result of that, he feels he has to plan. He feels he has to consider every possible outcome and plan for that circumstance. That is almost an impossibility. If you believe that life is random, a random collection of events, some of which are negative, life is going to work around your planning and create experiences that seem random and against your intentions, because that's what you believe. No amount of planning is going to change that. Sure, you'll be successful in some areas because in the act of planning, you're also thinking and believing that your planning is going to work, and so physical reality is going to reflect that back to you as well. But if your dominant focus is that life experience is random, then you're going to experience that plus and minus, good and bad. In every life, a little rain must fall circumstance. But you can live a life experience where everything unfolds perfectly for you without you having to plan at all. Just moving in the moment, inspired by your broader perspective, living joyfully in the now, and watching as your life experience unfolds seemingly magically. Now, that sounds like a whole bunch of woo-woo bullshit for most people, because most people aren't living that life. They're living the life that my client is living, where they think they have to plan and they have to work hard. And so their life is going to show up that way. I'm not blaming those people for having their life show up that way, and because it shows up that way, as a result of their thoughts and beliefs, they have to live that life. And this is why the positively focused practice takes a while to master, because you have to soothe the momentum behind the thoughts and beliefs that are creating the reality that you have in order to have the reality I'm talking about here. You cannot go, I tell my clients this all the time, this practice is not magic. You cannot go one moment from the life experience you have, poof, into the next moment where you have this charmed life I'm talking about. No, you have to soothe the momentum of the thoughts and beliefs that are creating the life you have. And as you do that, focus on creating the life you desire. And in time, in divine timing, your life experience will tune to the new belief momentum. And the evidence, I always say this also, the evidence that proves what I'm saying, that if you tune yourself to the new belief momentum, your life experience will reflect those new beliefs. The evidence of that is your current life experience. Your current life experience is occurring the way it is because you have tuned yourself to the thoughts and beliefs that are giving you that life experience. That is so profound, you guys. So what does this look like in practice? Well, I've been sharing in my own life experience. I've been sharing examples of this happening, and I'm about to share, I've shared castles like this apartment that I'm in, and I've shared buttons as well. And the example I'm going to give here is a button. It's a perfect example of the charmed life that I'm talking about, where everything happens without you having to focus on it at all or make it happen. You have to focus on it because your focus is what creates the reality, but you don't have to take action to make it happen. So here's an example. In the fall of last year, I thought how nice it would be to have a blender. I thought about the kind of blender that I wanted so that I can make smoothies and perhaps make soups and hummus and guacamole dip, things like that. And at the time, I figured that it would be nice to have that in the spring, not in the winter. So after thinking for a little bit about this blender, not really thinking about what kind or what brand or how much it would cost or anything like that, I just thought about how joyful it would be to have the blender. That was in the fall. In March of this year, I was walking back from, where was I coming back from? Oh, I was walking back from the bicycle shop because I was it? Yeah, I was walking back from the bicycle shop after talking with them about something about my new bike, which was also a wonderful manifestation. And when I was walking back, I passed this house where this guy had a yard sale. He has lived here in the United States for 35 years and has finally had enough, he said, and so he was moving back to Europe. And I looked on his porch. He had all his items out on his yard, and on his porch I noticed that he had some coolers, some igloo coolers. And so I walked back home. My home was about less than a third of a mile from his house. I walked back to the apartment, and while I was in the apartment, I was thinking about how cool it would be to have a cooler so that when I go on road trips, I could take food and keep it cool. So I walked back to the guy's house to get the coolers. He had two of them, a really small one and then a medium-sized one. He was selling the small one for $4 and selling the medium one for $5. And so I was looking at those two, and then he said, "Hey, you might like this blender I have." I'm going to put a picture of the blender. I think I have the box. I think I took a picture of the box too. I'm going to put a picture here so you can see it. This is a Ninja blender. Now, I'm not a big fan of the name, but the blender is amazing. And he had talked about, before I decided to buy it, how awesome this blender was and how good it was and how much he paid for it. He paid over $100 for it. And when he started talking about this blender, I realized that back in the fall, I was thinking about buying a blender. And here this guy had this blender. It's in perfect shape. He was selling it for $20. Of course, I bought that blender, and then I looked it up online and checked with ChatGPT about how much this blender cost. The blender retail costs a little over $100. So I got this blender basically in almost new condition for a fraction of what it costs new, and even significantly less than what people are selling it used, like on eBay. So now I'm going to tie this all together. When you live in the moment, joyfully present in the now, not trying to plan because you think some random thing is going to happen or you have to consider the pros and the cons. When you live joyfully in the now, the universe takes care of your desires and fulfills them in perfect timing. And it fulfills them in a way that surprises and delights you. Now, it's scary for people to think that they don't have to plan if they think they have to plan. And it takes a while. Again, it takes a while to get to the point where you no longer have to plan because you can see that life is unfolding perfectly for you and you can joyfully move through it without having to control it. It takes a while to get there because you have persistent momentum behind beliefs that say you have to do this planning, you have to be careful, you have to think about the future and orchestrate it in a way for you to get what you want. But every single one of my clients are learning the opposite, that the more you let go, the more you get what you want in surprising and delightful ways. This is what I call the charmed life. Letting go, relaxing into life, feeling the joyful flow of being in the flow, and watching as the universe delivers to you everything you want. And when you're in that state of seeing the universe delivering everything you want, you cannot help but feel worthy. It's so good. Okay, I think that's it for this video episode. I love my clients because they reflect back to me the accuracy of this practice. I love showing these clients how to use the practice to create their own versions of what I'm experiencing, which is the charmed life. And I love watching my clients as they move from a reality that they believe is full of random acts, some of which can harm them, to a reality where they're living the charmed life, where they're realizing nothing can come into their life experience that they don't invite. And so there's no need to push against anything. There's no need to protest anything. There's no need to defend themselves from anything or anyone. And the more they stay in that state, the more charmed their life becomes. What does it become? A reflection of their improved thinking and believing. You can have this too. Feel free to reach out or just keep watching this channel. If you want more evidence, you can subscribe, and after a week of being a subscriber, you get access to my community on this channel, where you get the opportunity to read and listen to videos in which I'm talking about my own unfolding charmed life. There's a whole lot more coming, and I invite you to participate along with me in all of it. Life is wondrous, and it's waiting for you to realize that. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.